Alright, so I'd like to talk about my updated bike setup for 2025 now that we're wrapping up 2024, and I also like to give a review of this Superteam EVO 2, 1, I don't know, 60mm wheels. A final review after having ridden them for almost 1,000 kilometers. My initial video that I did for Superteam, they said that it's not a complete video, so here I am. And I have a lot to say about these wheels. These are my personal opinion, and it's honest opinion, I would say, to all of you watching out there, and also to just showcase what I have done to the bike, my Look 795 Blade RS after, I got this like late last year, so almost a year that I've gotten it now, and what I think about it. So let's jump straight into it. Also, before I start the video, I'd like to say a big thank you to all my Patreon subscribers who have been supporting me so far. Thank you so much to all of you. And those of you who are still not yet a Patreon subscriber and you would like to support my channel, please do support me by clicking on the Patreon link in the video description. Any form of contribution really helps the channel and helps me create more videos like this, gets more sponsorship, and I hope 2025 will be a better year for oompaloompacycling. Cycling season has been, after COVID, has just kind of slowed dramatically, I'm not gonna lie. And let's see what we can do for 2025. Okay, let's jump into this. I'm gonna do this like a one take, just like how I did my Venge video. Just a walking documentary in the back of my kitchen while my wife is not at home. Okay, let's start with the frame. So the Look 795 Blade RS in the Mondrian colorway. So I'm just going to repeat myself if you have not seen the reason or the video why I got this bike. When they first launched this bike, I was really attracted to the lines of the bike. I don't like bikes that have very weird lines. I like something very traditional, a very straight top tube. So if you look at this frame, I believe this is a 52 centimeter on the top tube. It's a M size. I couldn't do a... No, sorry, this is a S, not an M. M would have been too big. The stand over height is too high. So, and the reason why I wanted to get it in this Mondrian colorway, because it's so freaking cool, man. Just look at the paint job, and this frame only comes in this paint job only comes in a frame only, so you can't get it in a complete bike. This bike, if you are thinking, and I've gotten a few DMs from some of you asking if this bike is worth buying, let me just say that if you plan to buy this, please buy it in a complete bike with the full group set and wheel set, because it's much cheaper. I got this frame with a bit of discount, close to 7,000 Singapore dollars. Looking back, I think I have paid too much for it. With that amount of money, I would have gotten a Specialized. Before you start roasting me about why buy a Specialized, and I think when I got this bike, the SL8 was already out. So looking back, I would have gotten the SL8 because of, number one, the weight. I don't have the technical spec, so I'm not going to say it out here. I think this bike weighs much more. The frame only weighs much more heavier than the SL8. And also the fact that the SL8, because it's such a common bike, you can find a lot of third-party parts. And I'll get to that a little bit later. Also, the SL8, I think, or any other more common brands out there, you would sell them very easily on Carousel. So I think it's a more liquid to look at it that way. If you want to sell it, post it on Carousel, instantly I think you'll find some buyers. Whereas on the Look, I am pretty damn sure the depreciation is extremely high. I will not be able to sell this bike anytime soon. Just post it on Carousel. I don't think anyone will want to buy it. Personally, I don't think I'll be selling it anytime soon because I paid too much money for it. Doesn't make sense for me to sell it right now. I'm going to lose a lot of money, and I'll be, So, but so far, if you're going to ask, okay, so all the common questions you guys are probably wondering, what is the stiffness? How does it perform on flats? Okay, I can't comment on stiffness, honestly. It's I don't push out a lot of power, so I really cannot comment. So I'm only comparing against the bikes that I have. I've owned the Ridley Phoenix SL, Specialized SL6, and S-Works Venge. Some of you who are close to me will know that I have said this a lot of times, that I think the Venge is much faster, only because the Venge is more aero, but the look climbs better because it's not as aero. This bike weighs in, I think, about 7.5, if I'm not wrong. So that's my thoughts. I just like the lines of the bike. It's very nice, I think, in my opinion. Nothing too fancy, no major critical moving parts, anything like that. So it's just a very simple looking bike to me. But again, I think the price is a bit too ridiculous. So let's move on to the cockpit. This is their integrated cockpit with their... It's not a one-piece, so you can see it's actually a two-piece. You've got the stem and then the bar itself. This is a 38 centimeter, but actually it feels quite wide that I have to tilt my shifters in a little bit. I think I could have gone 36, but they only make them up to 38. And this is a 100mm stem. Initially, I slammed the stem, but my back couldn't take it, so I have to raise it up a little bit. There's a bit of spacer there, but I'm just going to leave it as is. I run a Garmin 530 for the longest time. I think this is like a 3 or 4-year-old unit. A lot of you also have been asking me what kind of lights I use. These are exposure lights, exposure tracer, front and back. I really like these lights, but I even wrote to Exposure before and asked them if they could sponsor me. No replies. Maybe I'm too small for them. But Exposure, if you're watching this, you can always email me. I love their lights. These lights, the front light, I've been using it for a very long time. It's been dropped on the road so many times. But one thing I don't like is you see this rubbery piece over there. Charging it is a pain in the ass. You got to move that rubber sleeve to plug in the USB, micro USB. Holding the head unit and the light is Looks proprietary mount. Nothing much to talk about that. And I run Shimano Dura Ace 12 speed. And if you're going to roast me, I got a very sweet deal on the Shimano Dura Ace, so that's why I got it. And previously I was on the 11 speed. And what I like about the 12 speed is, compared to the 11 speed, the shifting is so seamless because of their Hyperglide. But I think if you're gonna upgrade, right, just get the Ultegra, don't get Dura Ace. It's a bit too expensive, and Ultegra shifts, I believe, just as well with the Hyperglide system. This is a semi-compact, I think 52-36 in front, and I don't know what's the cassette size, but it's a standard, nothing too big, too small. Yeah. What's next? Okay, saddle. This is the Selle Italia Boost SLR that I got off Carousel for $50, and look at it. It's the Tour de France version with the yellow accents, which matches my Mondrian frame. And then I have this 3D printed. It's also from Exposure lights, their mount. So I like something that sits very nicely for my rear light. So it all integrates very nicely. And bottle cages. These are, I don't even know what brand is this, man. I just got them. It's like some kind of plastic / carbon bottle cages. My AliExpress bottle cages that I've been raving about became very loose. My bottle started flying out, so I had to get something else. But this is some German brand that I bought. I can't remember. I'm also running a KH chain catcher, and I got this new look pedals. Sorry, I don't know what pedals are these, but I essentially kind of got sponsored for these pedals from KH Cycle. Okay, one more piece before we go on to the wheels is this Magine PS. So I made a video about this Magine power meter. By the way, this power meter was sponsored to me. I think this retails for about $300. Guys, this power meter for the price is a real value for money. I have a 170mm crank. You guys should watch the video if you are having issues with this, especially of the crank coming loose. So I mentioned and I showed how to install it, and after I've installed it, it has not come loose anymore. So in some of the comments of that video, some people say, yeah, after you've tightened it, you know, the bolt will come loose again. But after I've done it correctly, it has not come loose at all. So check out that video if you have this power meter and you think it's coming loose. It's probably the way you're installing it is wrong. I am running Vittoria Corsa Pro. These are in 2025, I think, 26. And I'm running clinchers, of course, with TPU tubes, the XR TPU tubes, and I'm running at 80 psi. I love these Vittoria Corsas. They are super fast. Some of you say that these tires do not last, but I have ridden them for almost more than 1,000 kilometers. No issues, no flats, no pinch flats, and no punctures. Okay, so that is the bike. Any questions? Comment in the video, I'll answer them. And let's get on to the wheels. I'm going to mount my camera and let's talk about the wheels. Okay, so these are the Superteam 60mm wheels that I've been sponsored. Ridden them for about, like I said, more than 500 kilometers. I did 3 races in them. I've crashed in it once. What I've got to say is, for the price point, it's a pretty damn good ass wheel. Carbon wheel. It's very light, very fast, very responsive. 1.2 kilos if I'm not wrong. My wheel set that I've been using, or which I've paid with my own money, is the NV65, the older version, not the hookless one with Chris King hubs. For the price, it is really good. It has bladed spokes. I think the way the pattern is on the rims, it's BS. I don't think it makes any difference. You guys will want to ask, does it fly in the crosswind? Do you feel it? And I would say, of course, it's deep rims. Whatever blows your way, you will definitely feel it. So, but acceleration, it's really fast because it's light. It holds speed up on your TMCR West Coast Highway. But it tends to lose a little bit of speed because it's light. But it is good enough for what it is. But I am not going to be using these wheels anymore. I'm going to be swapping back to my NVs, and the reason is, I did a race, Lekas race in Malaysia. It was a wet race, and I think it was 100-ish kilometer race, and towards the end, it was pouring, rain. It was raining and all that. Towards the last 20 or 30 k's, I felt that my bike was rocking, as if the wheel was totally unbalanced. You get a feeling it was moving back and forth, and I was like rolling at 40 plus kilometers an hour. And I thought maybe one of the spoke broke or it was loose. That's why it was causing it to rock back and forth. I didn't have too much time to think about it. I just wanted to finish the race. I finished it. And then when I went home and I was packing my bike to come back to Singapore, to take out the wheels, and there was so much water trapped in the wheels. So I think I have a video I took. I was doing a ride and it was also raining, and you can hear the water swooshing in there. There was so much water trapped in the wheels during that Lekas race that my bike started to move, and the water wasn't draining. So I'm not sure what's the reason, and I couldn't get the water to drain out. There are drain holes here, but I remember I was speaking to Ching Xiang from Ascend Wheels why this happened, and I asked him what is the purpose of having a drain hole if it doesn't work. So he told me that the drain hole is not meant for draining out water. I'm not sure, don't quote me on this if maybe I heard him wrongly, but I remember him saying something like that, and it's more of like a pressurization kind of thing. That's why you have a small hole and not a huge hole. More for pressurization, something to do with like wheels bursting and things like that. So I'm not too technical. Maybe some of you who are more knowledgeable out there can guide me. So anyway, the way that I could only get the water out was to remove the tube and pour and try to get the water out through the valve hole of where the tube will go through, the valve will go through. So I think that's the only problem, the very, very big problem with the wheels. It trapped so much water and I couldn't get it out. So I would not use this pair of wheels in the wets, in the rain, because it traps so much water and I can't get it out. It's just a real pain. Having said that, other than that, everything is good. I think the setup is seamless. I don't even need rim tapes on these wheels. And they give you spare spokes. And that's about it really. I just think for the price it's really good. The only problem why I'm not going to be using this anymore is because it's trapping too much water in there. I don't know. I don't see any YouTubers talking about that. I don't know if it's me or what. Or maybe because I'm running clean chest. I don't know. Maybe if you run tubeless, maybe you won't have this issue. I don't know. But I mean, if someone's going to buy this and run clinchers, you're going to face that issue. So that is my review, my honest review. And let me know what you guys think. I think that wraps up everything. I have one more episode to be published before the end of the year. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you so much. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.